What's going on, guys? So, this is going to be my Wonder Woman spoiler review, and I'm releasing this video on Monday, so I'm hoping a lot of you guys have had the opportunity to watch the movie over the weekend. If not, watch this video and spoil everything, or, you know, just wait and watch it after you watch the movie. But before I go ahead and jump into all the things that I like or didn't like about the movie, I just want to go ahead and throw some praise to a video I made almost 10 months ago, almost a freaking year ago at this point, that talked about how it was just ridiculous that people were saying this movie was going to be awful. Like somebody had saw an early screening of it and it was going to be terrible and this movie was a mess and it was shitty like BVS, which I didn't think BVS was shitty, but some people feel that way. But anyways, everybody was just, there was all these rumors flying around that this movie was going to be garbage. And what do you know? This movie is certified fresh by the, you know, freaking gods of reviews over on Rotten Tomatoes. Clarification, some people believe that Rotten Tomatoes are like the god of reviews on stuff. I don't really care about critics and their stuff, but I'm happy that it's certified fresh because a lot of those people that do think and praise that website so much will actually go see this movie now because it's got such high ratings. But anyways, like I said, it is certified fresh. I believe it's currently at a 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. Patty Jenkins is the first ever female director to get certified fresh, and also, I believe she is about to become the first director to ever open at over $100 million on the first weekend, or she's going to be the first ever female director to open over $100 million for a superhero movie that she directed. So congrats to freaking Patty Jenkins, and fuck you to everybody that said this movie was going to be shit and it was a mess and all your shitty rumors. This just goes out to prove that guys, always do research for yourself, judge things for yourself, fuck rumors and critics, just judge everything for yourself, okay? So yeah, I just wanted to give some praise to that video because, man, a lot of people were like, it's probably gonna suck, but you know, whatever, just had to do it. But anyways, let's jump into this movie because, man, oh man, I freaking loved this movie. And a lot of people were like, oh man, you don't seem so excited in this when I did a non-spoiler review. Well, when I have to do a freaking non-spoiler review and I can't really talk about the damn movie, how do you want me to be, man? All I can say is like, it was a really good movie, and now I'm excited because I can tell you all the cool shit in this movie. Alright, so I want to start off by saying that I've seen this movie twice already, and I plan on seeing it for a third time because I do want to take my sister to see it, but she's currently not in town. So whenever she gets back in town, I want to take her to go see this movie if she hasn't already seen it. So, after seeing it 2 times in a row, the movie still holds up. I still got like teary-eyed at certain parts, and I was just like so hyped to see it, and I was so excited to see her fight again. Like, the movie held up the second time around, and I just really enjoyed this movie. I'm not going to go into talking about the characters and how great they were. I just want to talk about specific scenes and stuff like that, and maybe some stuff you guys didn't catch or you might have missed or whatever in this movie, because, well, you can see my non-spoiler review about all of that other mushy stuff. First thing I want to talk about is the origin of Wonder Woman. Now, a lot of you guys probably know the origin of Wonder Woman, but the way that the DCEU made her, she is a god. So they're going with the more the New 52 origin of Wonder Woman, which, you know what, some people may or may not like that. I fucking love that because, I don't know, the whole having her made out of clay and Zeus freaking hit her with the lightning bolt or whatever and made her a human, I don't really like that. Like, that's fine. But I kind of like this other origin from the New 52 because it makes a little bit more sense that her mother, an Amazon, had sex with freaking Zeus, and she was born, and she is a demigod, and that is why she is so freaking powerful. I like that. But I do think the way this movie did her origin was really fucking awesome because they took that original origin of her being made out of clay, and that was what was told to her her whole life. But then we found out that she's actually a freaking god because a god can only kill another god, and that's when she fought Ares and all that jazz. So she found out her true origin. So I thought they did it really well because they paid homage to the old school origin but they went with the new school origin. So I thought that was really fucking awesome. Second thing I liked about this movie was I felt like the action came at the right times in the movie. Like, we had a big action scene right at the start of the movie, like in the first 15-20 minutes of the movie on the freaking beach, and it was like filled with emotion already and like good fight scenes. And then we get more freaking story. Then we get the best scene, which I think in the whole movie is when she finally puts on the tiara and everything, and she goes out and she's all like, this is what I am here to do, or whatever. Like, oh my god! Like, that was the best scene. I'll talk about it in a little bit again. I'll talk about it more in a little bit. But then at the end, we have the big fight scene with Ares. And I just felt like this movie's action came and like went at the right times, and it was just like every action scene was pretty fucking awesome. But going back to the action scenes, I have to say that scene, oh my god, when she enters the battlefield, like, I literally, my eyes got watery on that whole scene. And I know some people will be like, what? Because it was just so freaking inspirational for that. One, she looked like a badass, but as me, like, I know, look, I'm a boy, so, like, I've had male figures, like, I've had Batman, Superman, they've all had movies, but, like, I don't know why, I feel like when I was watching this movie, I could feel how, like, women and young girls are gonna see this movie and just see this powerful female, like, just owning the screen. And, like, I was able to feel that because although I'm not a woman, I do feel that power, like, that just, like, oh my god, I can relate to this character so much when I see a Latino in a damn lead role. Like, I'm like, fuck yeah, dude, a Latino in the lead role. Like, it gets me just inspired, and it just feels fucking awesome. And a story I'll tell you guys, when I was in the theater watching it the second time, these girls came in, they were dressed in, like, Wonder Woman clothes, their shirts, and, like, you know, they just dressed like they had tiaras, they had the bracelets, and you can just tell they were super psyched for this movie. Although, ladies, stay off your damn phones during the movies. They did it like twice, but it still bothered the fuck out of me. But they were so hyped every time Wonder Woman came on the screen. And the moment she freaking stood up and entered no man's land, but it's woman's land now, bitch. So she freaking goes up there. These girls were like, whoa! They were like, oh my god. Like, everybody in the theater was going crazy because this is the first time they've had a badass female character to look up to. And I just felt that power from the audience, and just like, I could just feel everything about it, and just felt fucking awesome. But with that scene, I just found it so inspirational that this woman, this person that just wants to bring so much good into the world, that just wants to help everybody she can. We saw it right before she goes into the battlefield. She saw the horses, like, stuck in the mud. She saw that guy with his freaking leg blown off. She wanted to help everybody, but the guys were like, look, we don't got time for that. We gotta go. It's like, we gotta walk and all this bullshit. Like, she just wanted to help everybody. Then she sees the mother with her freaking baby, and she's all like, oh, they're taking all our stuff. And she's all like, where? She's like, over there, over no man's land. And Trevor and everybody's all like, we can't do that. It's called no man's land, and nobody's ever jumped over there because you die automatically. And she's all like, nah, bitch, I got this. And then she freaking super sexy just freaking climbs up the ladder, and she's all, and it's just the best fucking action sequence ever. And she's just taking all these bullets, and she gets her shield, and she's taking all the freaking bullets, and she's like that. And then Trevor's like, she's taking all the hits, let's go, bitches. And all the guys fucking go out there, where her crew goes out there first and starts killing people, and then everybody goes out there. So it just showed that this strong, badass motherfucking woman just motivated a whole group of men that never went and did anything like this before. She motivated all of them to win that fucking no man's land area, and it was so epic. That scene, I've seen it twice, and it's awesome. Like, it's so freaking awesome to see her do that. And then, like, and they just added, like, you know, she takes out everybody, they bring out the bunkers, they go into that city, and all the guys are there, and she's all like, y'all wait here. That's the same line that every man always tells the female character in every other movie. He's all like, wait here, I got this. And then, of course, the female usually doesn't listen, and she's all like, bitch, and she goes, does something too. But that was this whole scene too. Like, Wonder Woman's like, wait here, I got this. And she goes and just kicks all this ass and destroys everybody. She starts freaking, when she brought out that lasso, she was like, what? And she was doing all that shit. Like, that whole action sequence was so good. That action sequence was like the Batman action sequence in freaking BVS. Like, I think both of those sequences were so awesome, and they showed those characters' true ability in those movies. And like, oh my god, Patty Jenkins, like, that was so good. And I know a lot of people were like, oh, there was a lot of slow-mo in this damn movie. But I don't care about that. I honestly was not bothered by the slow motion in this movie at all. I thought it was done really well. Yes, was there a lot of it? Totally. But at the same time, like, I felt like it was done right, if that makes sense. What I mean by that was the slow-mo was used in ways that, like, you know, like, it was the first, when she's going onto the battlefield for the first time and she's just blocking the bullets, it's just showing you what Wonder Woman can do. And then, of course, they speed it up and, like, she's taking all the machine gun bullets. Like, I think all of the slow-mo was done really well, because you gotta remember, none of those soldiers could actually keep up with Wonder Woman. She's supposed to have the speed of freaking Hermes, so she's, like, super fast. And you see it at the end when, you know, the whole big crazy thing happens with Trevor, and she's all like, no! And she goes all crazy, and she just fucks up everybody like she's going like the Flash and shit. We know that she's super fast, so the slow-mo makes sense in the movie. Camera couldn't keep up with me and just stopped recording. But yeah, so I think the slow-mo made sense, because it just, you know, that's how freaking Diana was seeing the battlefield. Like, these guys weren't able to keep up with her. And I don't know, I thought it was done really well. And this is the first ever Wonder Woman movie. So slowing down the battle scenes and just showing you how awesome she could be and do shit was really awesome. The slow-mo wasn't necessary in BVS because she was fighting somebody that was equal to her power. She was fighting Doomsday. So we were able to get a super fast Wonder Woman in BVS. Plus, it's also like 100 years in the future from this movie. But I don't know, I just felt like the slow-mo was done really well. I know some people that were like, it was too much of it, but I thought it was really well done. But that action sequence, man, that No Man's Land action sequence, I think is the best part of that movie. Jumping to the end of the movie when we find out who Ares really is, and we go into that whole Ares battle, I thought that sequence was pretty cool. I love that Trevor and his whole group had a thing that they were doing on the side too. They weren't just like off on the side like watching Diana fight. I love that they were actually doing something, and that whole crew of people was really awesome. I love the diverse cast. I thought that was really amazing. But I loved all of their stories and everything they were doing in the movie. But when Diana was fighting Ares, I thought that fight was pretty awesome. I will say one thing I didn't like was that she didn't have a sword. Like, I was like, what? And I know that whole her sword breaking set up for, like, you know, she is the god killer and it wasn't a sword. I get why they did that, but I kind of wish she would have had a sword for that battle, because I would have liked to see her and Ares like boom, boom, boom. Maybe Ares will come up in, like, you know, Wonder Woman 3 or something like that, or maybe a Justice League movie. He'll show up and we'll be able to see a sword battle between her and Ares. But I was kind of hoping for that, but it kind of sucked that we had to rely on her just, you know, she was using the lasso and she was using her bracelets and stuff. I kind of just wanted to see a sword battle, but maybe next time. Another thing with that fight was Ares. I thought he was badass, how he got his armor, like the explosion. He was just like, let me build a whole freaking thing of armor for me. I hated the helmet. I mean, the helmet was badass, but I wish they would have blocked out the face. I hated that I was able to see his mustache and his actual face. I wish it would have just went all black and just had the red eyes with the helmet. I would have been 100% in love with that last scene if that was the case, but I didn't like how I could see his face. So that was probably my biggest pet peeve about this whole episode. You guys know me. I talk about it with Marvel a lot. I hate that they never have their helmets or their masks or anything like that. So seeing Ares, a big villain, I wanted to see that blacked out face with the red eyes. We didn't get that, but hey, whatever. But then we see the whole sacrifice of Steve Trevor killing himself. Like, that was pretty crazy. I expected him to die because there was no way, it wouldn't have made any sense for him to live all the way to BVS. Like, it was 100 years later, he had to have died. Like, there was just no way. So I think this was a really good way for him to go out. Like, he sacrifices himself. It, you know, it reminds Diana of, like, how people are really good and stuff like that, and they sacrifice themselves for the better of everything. You know, I thought it was really powerful, especially the way it was done, you know? Like, he said what he needed to say, but they didn't tell you that right away. And then he blows up, and then, you know, then she remembers everything as she's going and destroying everybody and lifting up tanks and all that shit. Like, man, Patty Jenkins did a really fucking good job with this movie. And it was funny because the first time I was all like, man, I wish I would have loved that movie a little bit more than I did, because I enjoyed it. When I got out of the theater, I was like, it could have probably been a little little bit better? Like, that was running through my mind, but as I kept thinking about the movie, I was like, no, that was really done really well. I was like, that was done really well. I was like, holy shit, like, this movie was fucking badass. Like, I don't know why. I think I just kept thinking about it. I think I was just nitpicking on, like, the Ares mask and stuff like that. But no, I fucking love this movie, and just after watching it a second time, like, I appreciate it even more. Like, some of the things Patty Jenkins did in this movie were fucking great. I want to ask one quick question, because me and my friends were talking about it after the movie. Did you think that freaking Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor banged one out when, you know, he kisses her and all that stuff, and then they just cut out to the house with the light? I think they banged. I'm just throwing that out there. What do you guys think? Let's talk about it in the comments. I totally think, you know, they were... Also, not too sure if you guys caught it, but while they were doing that whole little chat on the boat on the way to London, did you catch the kind of nonchalant, how do you say, hint that at Wonder Woman's, like, bisexuality? Because if you guys don't remember, I covered this on one of the Daily Doses about how last year, a lot of people were kind of freaking out that Wonder Woman... Shut up, phone! Some people were freaking out about how Wonder Woman is bisexual, and they're like, no, there's no way, blah, 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 blah. But I did a whole video about how it makes sense that she's bisexual, because she lives on a damn island of nothing but women, and women freaking get curious and shit just like men do. So I was just like, it just makes perfect sense. And when she was talking to Steve Trevor on the boat, they were talking about the whole 15 novels or whoever, like the 15 sex books she's read or whatever, and she knew about the pleasures of the flesh and all that jazz. And, you know, she makes that joke that men are not only necessary for reproduction, but not necessary for pleasure. Boom! Because she knows all about pleasure with the ladies. It was just a nonchalant nod that the Amazons know how to pleasure themselves without men. It doesn't necessarily mean she's a lesbian or, like, you know, bisexual in this universe, but I do think that that was just kind of a nod at it, which, you know, it's her canon now. She's bisexual, totally cool with it, but I just want to point that out there in case some of you guys didn't catch that. Trying to think of what else I could think of to, like, you know, keep talking about this movie. But those are some of my best things. I thought the origin story was done really well. I like the idea of the, like, kind of paintings that they did. It kind of looked like a moving paintings when they were explaining how the Amazons, you know, were, like, enslaved or created to help men and blah, blah, blah. Like, I really enjoyed how they did that. It just gave, like, that whole, like, ancient Greek feeling, or, like, that whole gods feeling, which was pretty awesome. But, yeah, I don't know. The origin story was done really well. It didn't take up too much time. I thought it was going to take up, like, half the movie, but I'm so glad it didn't. Like, it was, like, first 15 minutes of an origin story, bam, now we're into, like, modern world, or into showing what the character is really about. I think a lot of more DC movies should do that. Like, just have a quick flashback of origins, and then bam, you're into the freaking thing, and you don't have to spend your whole first movie on the origin of the character. And now, since we are in the DCEU, we know all of our characters have been, you know, heroes for a really long time, which I'm totally cool with that. I know some people are like, no, they should have done it the Marvel way. I don't really care. At first, I thought it was stupid that they were just going to make a Justice League right away. But I kind of like the way they were doing it, because we don't have to sit through a million origin stories. But I felt like it was perfect for Wonder Woman to have an origin story, because this was her first ever movie. But yeah, guys, I mean, those are just some of my favorite things. Like I said, the only things that really bothered me were kind of like the whole Ares thing. Some of his dialogue I didn't really like when she said she was gonna fight for men, he was like, no, or never. He says something, like, he says like one word. I thought that was hella cheesy. I was like, oh man, he should have just growled or something. Oh, also that too. I wanted his voice to be a lot darker. Like, I wanted to be like, look, Wonder Woman or Diana. Like, I wanted it to be like a crazier voice, and they kind of like made it a little bit darker, but it kind of still sounded like the guy. I wish the voice would have got a little bit more gangsta, and would have just been a little bit more intimidating, because I wasn't intimidated by his voice. Like I said, when he says that dialogue where he's like, no, or whatever, I was like, that was lame. Other than that, I thought the movie was freaking solid. I like Dr. Poison, and I'm already forgetting the other guy's name, but I thought they were good small villains. You know, what they did was kind of crazy. You know, they've gassed their own people and all that jazz. But, you know, it was all leading up to Ares. I like how Ares was, like, just getting into other people's brains and giving them the ideas and stuff like that. I don't know, guys. Like, this was just a solid freaking story. Like, I loved it. I'm totally excited to see it again. And I don't know. I just thought it was badass. But like I said, I tweeted this out, or I posted my photo of me standing next to the Wonder Woman, like, set piece thing that they have at all the movie theaters. But I was talking about how my favorite thing about Wonder Woman is actually not even anything to do with the movie, but it's how it's inspiring everybody. And I know I mentioned this earlier in the video, but just seeing, like, I've seen so many female celebrities so excited to go watch this movie, and they don't really do that. Like, a lot of celebrities don't pimp out other people's movies, but just so many female celebrities have been like, I can't wait to go see Wonder Woman. I follow a bunch of cosplayers, and some of them that are cosplaying or just saying, like, I needed this movie. Like, it shows me how you can be a strong woman, but at the same time be compassionate and caring, and all this stuff. Like, just seeing all of these different perspectives from all of these young girls to, like, you know, grown women, just how this is so empowering and inspirational for them fucking blows my mind, and I love it because that's what the world needs. And this is why I will, to the day I die, on this channel, always talk about how inclusion is fucking important, and I don't care if you care about source material, and I like my characters to look like they look in the freaking comics, all of that bullshit. Fuck no. I could give a shit if you want to change a little thing like that, and it's going to inspire a shit bunch of people like this. I know I probably said that wrong, but you know what I mean. You can change something like Wonder Woman. She was white in the comics forever, but she's brown in this movie, and she's inspiring a fuck shitload of people. So like I said, the Juice from the Box channel will always stand for inclusion because it matters. But I do want to know what you guys thought of Wonder Woman. Like I said, this is easily the best freaking DCEU movie to date. It is. I love BVS, but BVS did have some flaws, but at the same time, I still fucking love that movie because the action and everything was badass. I still say BVS has the best superhero fight of all time. But Wonder Woman's story, its emotion, its characters were just, it's the best DC one to date. And I really appreciate it, and I hope this is the new direction that the DCEU is going to go in. We'll see what happens with Justice League, but I'm kind of hoping that I hope everything's just going to improve, man, because, I mean, I love the Marvel movies, but DC is my bread and butter, and I just want those movies to be just as great, and I can't wait to see, and I'm hoping the future's bright, bitches! Anyways, guys, do let me know what you thought of Wonder Woman in the comment sections down below. I'm sorry if I didn't cover a lot of things. I'm just like, I wanted to just talk about the main points about this movie I liked. I mean, I loved a lot of the characters in here, a lot of the scenes, but these are just some of the biggest things I wanted to talk about. But do let me know. Maybe there's something that you wanted me to touch on. I'll try to hit it up in the comments. But another thing, remember, as always, you can support this channel, guys, like a lot of people do over on the Patreon. Go ahead and check that out if you want. Or you can always do the OG thing, like giving this video a like and sharing it with all your Wonder Woman buddies. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for all things nerdy and geeky on this channel. As always, I am your host, JUICEbox. Remember, when you wake up in the morning, ask yourself something. Have I had my daily dose of juice? See you guys next time. Bam!